participating in their first match of Season 9.
Indeed, it's going to be interesting. This is their first series, like you said, postponed from week 1. No idea what happened there. A lot of teams seems to have postponed the first week's game. It's just very interesting to see how these two teams will play it out, as they obviously this week have 2 games to play, I believe. Otherwise, or either they postpone this week's game as well, or well, it's going to be interesting. But obviously, NOX eSports Tampa up against Irrelevant eSports Forest Green is the first series, like you said, 8 p.m., which should start in a few minutes, just waiting on the players to join. While we wait, the next series, which will happen in 9 p.m., or maybe earlier, who knows, is going to be Ustones up against the champions of last season, Little Womans in the Vortex division. And I heard as well that 2 of the players in Little Womans made RCS a couple, seasons ago, which was, very interesting information to hear nonetheless. So it's going to be interesting to see how Ustones will do up against Little Womans as well later in this evening.
Yeah, there's 2 very high-quality rosters in that Vortex matchup. As you mentioned, Little Womans, with their prior history and as the defending champions, they have to be the favourites for that series. But Oofstones are a roster that have been together for a little while now. Hodge and Havoc have been playing together as a duo for quite some time now. So I'm excited personally to see what they can produce against a team of such high quality. I mean, if you can get any games off a team like Little Womans at this stage of the season, at least, it will set you up really nicely for a potential playoff running.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. If Ustones does manage to take on Little Womans, not in a sweep, or, well, maybe in a sweep, that's going to be very interesting to see, if they end up sweeping, and win it nonetheless. It's gonna, it's a statement by them, basically, just saying, hey, we took down the defending champions from last season. We're thirsty for that victory later on in the playoffs. We have the potential, but who knows? We haven't seen how Oofstones played yet, I believe. At least I haven't seen them. Don't blame me. But Little Womans, we've had our eyes on them. They are very strong. So it's going to be interesting to see how they will play. But let's switch focus from, Oofstones up against Little Womans into this series instead, Division 2.2, where Irrelevant eSports Forest Green will take on NOX eSports Tampa for the first series. And to say the least, it's going to be interesting. Forest Green has been, showing a lot of potential throughout the seasons, showing that they're very strong. Last season as well, pretty dominant for how they played. Unfortunately, couldn't grab that win. But nonetheless, they have already stated that they're a really good roster. So very interested to see how they will do up against NOX eSports Tampa.
It's a competitive Division 2.2, to say the least. There are also 2 Godalian sides, Aztecs and Perenna, that are yet to play their first fixture. We've got Ignite Esports in here as well. Fort Templar Samurais lost in 5 games in their first match of the season, but the current pace setters at the top of the table are Cosmos, Odysseum and Code 4. They are the 2 sides that have won their opening fixtures so far, so these 2 teams are going to be trying to match that. And in terms of seeding, there's not a lot separating these 2, about 50 MMR, which is not a very big gap at all. And I'm pretty sure that's going to show on the pitch. I'd be surprised if this was a sweep either way. I've seen ILV Forest Green play on a few occasions in Mount Sundays, and Dr. Sniper does play in Rocket Sundays as well. So I'm well aware of the quality that this ILV roster has. NOX Tampa, not a team that I've seen play before, but they are the slightly higher seeded team, so it will be an entertaining fixture.
Yeah, they have a lot to prove tonight, NOX eSports Tampa, especially when you're up against Irrelevant eSports Forest Green, a very well-known name in ECC. With how long have they been together? Been in this tournament for since season 5, perhaps?
It's a long tenure for them nonetheless, but RV Forest Green will be looking to capitalise on the momentum for the organisation that was kickstarted by ILV Crimson, who swept Quicks Esports in Division 1, a reverse sweep there. and a 5-game victory for them. So that's a good way for ILV to kickstart their season as an organisation as a whole. Of course, it's not just about Forest Green. All of the teams try and get behind each other, and that's one of the great things about having an organisation with multiple rosters in the league.
Yeah, I was shocked to say the least to see Irrelevant Esports Crimson coming back, making a return into ECC. I remember playing for either No Hope Crimson or No Hope Corundum. Don't remember what week it was, but I remember trying to schedule a game with the captain of Irrelevant Esports Crimson, and we scheduled a game, but later on that week got notified that they would later on be disbanded for the rest of the season and not return till now, season 9 of ECC, which, already is a shocker. They went from not being that good to, just outstanding performance already. A reverse sweep in Division 1.1, you said?
Yes, and they are my pick to win that division for this season, so I'm very pleased to see that happen. But ILV Black, ILV Sky Blue didn't get off to the starts they would have been hoping for. 3-2 losses and 3-1 loss, respectively. So mixed results for them so far, but most recently a win for Crimson, as I mentioned, and now a chance for Forest Green to kickstart their season with a victory. But we wouldn't be casters if we didn't put up a pre-match prediction. So what do you think is going to happen in this series?
It's a tough one. Like you said, NOX Esports Tampa, as registered, they are the higher MMR team than Irrelevant Esports Forest Green. But I've seen how Forest Green has played, and, to say the least, they're very scary. So my pick for today's match, right now, this match, upcoming match, is that Irrelevant Esports Forest Green will take it home. It will be a close one, but I don't see it being a sweep, as like you said, NOX Esports Tampa being the higher MMR team. It's going to be tough for Irrelevant Esports Forest Green. It's going to be an exciting overall series, honestly.
Well, I might have to give this series to NOX Esports Tampa, even though I haven't seen them play yet. Any time that I have seen the NOX Esports roster play, they've been very impressive so far. Of course, they've got Atlanta in the Champions Conference too as well this season, and this organisation's rosters just seems to have the ability to perform above their MMR and what that would suggest. So to already be the highest seeded team and to have that bonus to their gameplay, I feel it might just be too much for RV Forest Green, who could need a match or two to settle into this season. I don't regard them as one of the clear favourites to win this Division 2.2, which is not to say that they can't, but for the teams that are sort of seeded in the middle of the standings, you may need a fixture or two to sort of figure out the quality of your opponents and get your own team chemistry going. So it might be a slower start for them and a roaring start for a NOX Tampa team that will be looking to prove themselves against an established organisation.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. They're very organized, like you said, and to see how they will try to adjust their play style to possibly take a win off them, and just overall, it's going to be exciting. But how many minutes? 4 minutes late a bit, but it's fine. We can bring it up. We can take up some more things while we're on the talk. Symbiotics Toxin, let's talk about them. Currently number 1 in Division 2.1. Very strong start for them. Like two wins already. Sweep against us, and then another win up against I forgot what team it was, but very strong start for Symbiotics.
Yes, Symbiotes have got a couple of rosters in the ECC this season. I think they have a Division 4 team as well. Emerge Charlie were my picks to win Division 2.1. I've been very impressed with the Rocket League that they're playing, but you get a couple of fixtures in the first few days of the season. I mean, they're slightly ahead of schedule at the moment. But when you do that and you get yourself a couple of wins on the board, you start to put some pressure on the teams below you. Even if you're not necessarily the favourites to win the division, just putting yourselves up there at the top of the table for a little bit of time early on in the season can make the other teams start to sweat a little bit and think about their fixture coming up against your team on this hot streak. So absolutely, it's a good start for Symbiotes Toxin, but there's a lot of quality in this Division 2, your team included, I'm sure, and plenty of sides that will be hoping to chase them down.
Yeah, it's been, a very interesting start, to say the least, for ECC. as you know, a lot of teams having to postpone their games. No idea why, but it's pretty shocking to see how many postpones there's been throughout 2 weeks already. But as I speak, we will begin with the first game. NOX eSports Tampa up against Irrelevant eSports Forest Green.
And this ball is chipped into the air from Noisy. Mostly Brave will try and follow it up, but there's a couple of misses in front of the net air from ILV Forest Green. Lyo tries to push it back into the middle, and Noisy will have a crack at the open net there. Misses wide on the left post. Mostly Brave with the follow-up shot. The early pressure comes from ILV Forest Green, but they don't have a goal to show for it. Now it will be NOX Tampa running forwards for the first time in the game, and Nova straight down the middle on the assist from Ronix on the left wing, and it is an early goal for NOX Tampa.
Great cut there by Ronix to just pass it out to the middle for Nova to just put NOX eSports Tampa on the lead. What an interesting start that was.
And ILV Forest Green will look to try and produce a quick response to that as they are straight away down the right wing. 2 players up on the backboard there for NOX Tampa, but Nova is going to get this cleared out, looking towards the halfway line, but Mostly Brave chips it back into the middle. Dr. Sniper hits the bar. Mostly Brave is there for the rebound. Ronix is going to get that clear, and Noisy scuffs the follow-up shot, so there won't be a quick answer to the opening goal for ILV Forest Green, and NOX Tampa can breathe a little bit.
Yeah, Noisy trying to relieve some pressure for Irrelevant eSports Forest Green, but can't really do much as NOX eSports just still, punching them in, boxing them in their own half, trying their best to not leave or let a single brief time, like airtime for Forest Green to work with. But as I speak, Noisy now with that clear, but Nova quickly sends it back.
Nova looking downwards, but there's nobody in field for NOX Tampa. Ronix will be the last defender back and has to follow this up from the ceiling. They should get an extra touch on this, and into the bottom left corner to extend the lead for NOX Tampa. Well executed finish there.
Well executed indeed. Ronix really quick on the ball there, going for the ceiling shot. He just sees the net being open. How can I put this ball so it's awkward for them? Oh yeah, it's free in the bottom left. I'll go for it.
Well, it's not the highest of ECC divisions, but even a Division 2.2 player should never be missing that, and a well-done finish there from NOX Tampa. They're not done yet, they're looking for more, and Ronix hits the crossbar. 2 defenders up for ILV Forest Green to try and make this clear. It's Noisy dragging the ball over the top creatively and lifting a shot towards the backboard, but Mostly Brave can't follow it up with the extra touch, and you can feel the nerves emanating from these ILV Forest Green players at the moment. I'm seeing a few too many double commits, and they are paying the price for that on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they're paying the price indeed. They're 2 goals down with less than 3 minutes left on the clock. They have to do something quick. And, especially against Tampa, look at them just piling up the pressure. As soon you leave the ball, they're on it. They're just taking every opportunity to capitalize on every mistake Forest Green is doing. As I speak, that's another shot by Leo. 3-0 for Tampa.
And at the halfway point of this game 1, it is all NOX Tampa at the moment, and this ILV Forest Green defense just isn't going to cut it in the remainder of the series. I think this game 1 may well be out of reach for them now, but they need to try and at least get a goal or 2 on the board, establish some semblance of momentum heading into the remaining games of the series, and Dr. Sniper is up for this one. Lyo clears it into the corner, and it will be Mostly Brave pushing it back into the centre, looking for Noisy, who chips a shot towards the net, but that one is going to be blocked away, sent all the way down in fact. Dr. Sniper has to reach that one, clears it over to the wing, gets the follow-up touch as well, over 2 defenders, but Ronix has been good on the back post rotation, can't receive it on this time though, and that is going to be a goal for ILV Forest Green as it's Noisy deflected in by the defender.
Now this is what we need more. Noisy just early on the ball there, just catching Lyo off guard, not expecting him to push so early, and that's what happens now. 3-1 in the scoreboard. Noisy now again trying to close down that deficit. Going for a flip reset, can't really get it. Nova, just a slight touch into the corner with Mostly Brave already on the ball.
Ronix now to follow this one up into the corner for NOX Tampa. Does get the extra touch on it as well. Here it comes off the backboard. Lyo looks for the extra follow-up. Nova's in there for this one. The pressure is building on ILV Forest Green, but Dr. Sniper is on hand to get it away, as Forest Green are within 2 at the moment, looking to push it back to a 1-goal deficit, and time is on their side at the moment. There's plenty of time to score a couple and tie it up. There is no in possession for NOX Tampa. Drags the ball forwards, looking to take it over the top of Dr. Sniper. Can't do that, and it will be Noisy to send it back, but not really clear-cut scoring opportunities for either team as Ronix deflects this shot away.
Now that was a close one as well. I believe there was a bomb attempt at net as well, which led to Ronix having to avoid that. That's a shot by Noisy! Noisy will make it a 1-goal deficit now, 3-2!
Well, with 1 minute 12 to go in this game, ILV Forest Green have pegged NOX Tampa back. Consecutive goals now, and they will have ample opportunity to try and tie it up here from this next kickoff in the game. And you have to say, they were not without their chances prior to finally putting some goals on the board, so it's promising signs for them.
Yeah, very promising indeed, but as we speak now, it is pressure by NOX Tampa. Lio can't really push it enough, mostly Brave passing it to Noisy. Noisy going for another shot. Ronix there on the back foot to block it. Now Dr. Sniper trying to clear or keep the ball in their half. Leo trying his best to just clear it, just putting the ball away from danger. Nova will be the one who tries to clear it. Ronix with the clear into Dr. Sniper. That's a bad touch by Dr. Sniper. Nova, will he capitalize? A bit too high. Noisy with the slight clear, but Ronix will regain that position. Flicks it over one, can't get it past Dr. Sniper.
Well, mostly Brave one up for this one as we have 20 seconds to go here in game one. ILV Forest Green still down by a goal, looking to find the equaliser at the moment. They are in possession for the time being, as mostly Brave gives a through ball down the wing to Noisy, who has to get a decent cross in, but this one is blocked aside by Leo, and it is last chance now. Mostly Brave is going to get this back on the left side, but has no boost to work with. Still manages to get the flick in. And here is Noisy chipping the ball up for Dr. Sniper, but that one is sent clear by NOX Tampa. And that is going to do it for game one. It's a 3-2 victory for NOX Tampa.
That was a close one by Forest Green. They nearly put it back, but sadly it wasn't enough. The effort wasn't enough to bring it back. And, you know, it was really good. A really good showcase by NOX Tampa. The amount of pressure they were putting, but as well the you know, the little redemption by Irrelevant Esports Forest Green with 8 shots compared to as well 8 shots by NOX Esports Tampa. But hey, that was game one. Very interesting to see how Irrelevant Esports Forest Green will try to push back for it basically. And what they're doing as well, Irrelevant Esports Forest Green, is that they conceded a bit too early as well, which probably led to them losing that game. Because, I mean, look at how the amount of pressure they were putting up for Tampa by the end of the last 2 minutes of the game. It was incredible, to say the least.
Well, it was a game of two halves, really. The first half dominated by NOX Tampa, the second by ILV Forest Green, and it could well be a microcosm of what we expect to see over the entirety of the series. Neither team really pulling away too much, and if that is to be the case, we'll want to see an ILV Forest Green win here in Forbidden Temple in Game 2, and given that they upped their game in the last couple of minutes of the previous game, I would certainly rather be the team that played well at the end of regulation as opposed to the beginning, as they now should have some semblance of momentum heading into this one. But that is a bad giveaway on the wing, and Ronix will send that one further forwards. It hits the post on the far side. Nova's up for the rebound, and NOX Tampa strike first again.
Dr. Sniper with the unfortunate miss there, can't read the ball, and he can't get that save either, as, you know, a bit too slow on the recovery to reach it. Nova grabs the lead for Tampa, and it's going to be very interesting to see how much Forest Green will have to work for now.
Ooh, and this is a follow-up shot in from Ronix there, just 6 seconds after taking the lead initially, as they were alive to the danger there from the kickoff. It's a really good read off that left wing, and I don't know, I think Forest Green could have done better there defensively, but they're in a multi-goal deficit pretty early on once again.
Yeah, not even a whole minute has gone by, 2 goals down for Forest Green. It's not something you want to see if you're playing for a Forest Green. And they just have to pick up the pace now, which is, you know, the downside. That might go in, actually. Never mind, Ronix saves the day for Tampa, leaving that 2-goal deficit where it is, as Leo gets blocked by Dr. Sniper. Ronix quick on the follow-up, but Noisy now going for a a solo play, can't get it past Nova. Mostly Brave, going for that midfield pass, gets it. Ronix with an unfortunate touch. Dr. Sniper is the one to grab the first goal.
Well, I was just going to mention that these passes into the middle from the wings haven't really worked as well as I think ILV Forest Green would have intended. Their style of Rocket League so far has very much been route one, looking for those banks off the sidewalls into the centre and not direct passing plays. But on that occasion, it does actually work, as it takes the deflection off the defender and frees up possession for Dr. Sniper. But they're going to need more offence than that. They're still down by one for the time being. They've got possession in the offensive third, but Nova is doing their best to carry that one away. Gets the demo on Dr. Sniper to free up some space for Ronix to make the clear. Lyo drops this one down. That was an ambitious attempt there at a creative pass down to the teammate, but nothing's going to come of that one, and it does remain 2-1.
Yeah, let's also appreciate that last goal for Irrelevant Esports Green, where mostly Brave, got that sneaky little bump on the defender as well, creating that opening. But hey, as it's big Noisy with the attempt to equalize the game, gets blocked in the process. Dr. Sniper goes for the pinch, but Leo is in the way. Noisy, now that's an open net! He can't really slide it in! A bit too tight for him, as the ball just rolls away from danger. Leo, that's an unfortunate pass as well, but mostly Brave can't really do much with it. That's a shot, it's going on target. Nova grabs that third goal for Tampa.
Well, Dr. Sniper looked pretty close to keeping that one out, but I just think he didn't have enough boost to reach it. Turns it against the post and unfortunately into their own net. But now a 3-1 lead for NOX Tampa as we approach the halfway point of Game 2. And in the context of this series as a whole, this is one that ILV really need to try and get the win in. Very close there. Noisy for the rebound. A quick response there to going down by 2. It comes from the kickoff for ILV Forest Green. Mostly Brave with the great first opportunity, and Ronix was never keeping out the second one.
Yeah, great attempt to save it by Ronix, but unfortunately Noisy was being a bit too noisy as well, just getting ahead and grabbing that second goal that Irrelevant Esports for the screen needed. Leo passing it down to the middle, very dangerous there as Dr. Sniper capitalizing on it, at least attempting to. That's a double commit by Forest Green, but Leo can't really get a better clear than that. Dr. Sniper getting it under Nova, that's just going to roll into Ronix. Leo going for the pass into Nova, can't really get it. Can't get the double touch either as Ronix leaves it into the middle. Leo with a slight touch, nearly faking out mostly Brave there on the defense.
Mostly Brave will now lift this one into the far corner, blocked down by Noisy. Here it comes down in front. Dr. Sniper misses on the follow-up chance. Ronix will clear this one out to the right wing, and suddenly it's a counter-attack for NOX Tampa. Ronix is still going, pushes it in for Lyo, and that is a sensational pass there from Ronix on the counter-attack. Took 2 defenders out of the play and restores the 2-goal lead for NOX Tampa.
He even sacrificed himself to make the opponent go slower, leaving the net very much open for Leo. Oh well, no, it wasn't Leo, my bad, I forgot who it was. But nonetheless, they grabbed that 2-goal deficit back, and Dr. Sniper now trying to, clear it. Can't really do much. Ronix, another shot on target. That's the 5th one for Tampa.
And these goals are just coming far too easy for NOX Tampa at the moment. That's a little bit unfortunate for ILV Forest Green. I think the pass wasn't intentional. It was deflected along the way by a defender going in for a 50, but ultimately when you commit so high up the pitch and you leave yourselves out of position at the back, these are the risks that you run. And the finish from Ronix is a strong one. Knew exactly where to put it to get it straight down the middle at speed. It'd be a 6th here. Ronix is going to get the ball back on the right wing and try and pile on the misery here for NOX Tampa. Pushes it into the centre. Lyo's up for this, and that one is going to deflect away into the far corner. But ILV Forest Green do find themselves down by 3 goals again. They're under a lot of pressure at the moment, and they could end up needing a reverse sweep in this series.
Yeah, it's very, intense. If you are put in that situation where you're forced to reverse sweep, it's going to be very, it's tense, it's intense for both teams. On the other hand, one might be a bit too confident, we can get the sweep and such. But on the other hand, they're just trying to stay alive. They want that first win. Both of them want their first win. Remember, this is the postponed game from week 1. Both of these teams haven't played their first games yet either. and they're still needing to play their second one later on this week. So it's going to be a bit stressful. So a win here might be a motivation boost, but as I speak, Nova slots one in.
Well, this is the difference that I spoke about at the beginning of the series between these two teams. When you have a newer org roster in NOX Tampa versus an RV Forest Green roster that's a little more of a veteran side, the hunger is there for the team in blue. You can really see it. They're pressing every ball. They attack at speed. RV Forest Green have had decent rotation, and you can see that they know when to put these passing plays together, but the hunger just isn't there for them at the moment. They need to try and find that. They look for the bump here to try and pull a goal back. Dr. Sniper misses on the far side as we have 15 seconds to go. There is no doubt about the result in this game now. It's going to be a 2-0 series lead for NOX Tampa.
Yeah, Nova will try to attempt to slot a 7th one. Leo down the middle, mostly Brave, now trying to keep it alive. Ball is still up in the air, but it drops as NOX eSports grabs the second game of the series.
And now RV Forest Green will have to try and replicate the heroics of RV Crimson, who took a reverse sweep themselves in their first Division 1 match yesterday. RV Forest Green now find themselves needing to do the same thing as NOX Tampa hit them for 6 in this one, and all 6 goals coming off an assist. That is a team that has generated some real chemistry here, and in the very first week of league play, it's been a real impressive start from them. But the job isn't done yet. They need at least one. They need one more game in this series, and they've got 3 opportunities to make that happen. So for ILV Forest Green now, how did they get back in this?
Well, they're a bit too slow as I see it, like leaving the ball as well, leaving a lot of space for NOX eSports Tampa to work with. And that's not something you want to do. You at least want one player who's pressuring at all times. You know, as soon he or she goes out of boost, that person should return back to being third, and then the second man pushes up for the ball, you know, keeping the pressure on. And that's what Tampa is doing as well. And we've seen a bit of that as well by earlier in game 1, where Noisy just, you know, pushed out of nowhere, catching Tampa off guard. But now we move to game number 3. The match point for Tampa. Will this be a sweep, or will Irrelevant eSports Forest Green stay alive?
Well, in both of the first 2 games in this series, NOX Tampa have taken early leads and pretty much seen that out to victory. It's never really been close in the back end of the game, other than when ILV got it back to a 1-goal deficit, but that was only for about a minute or so, and they were still chasing the game. So getting the first goal for them would be hugely important in this one. They've managed to not concede in the first 30 seconds, and they do have the ball where they want it. It's mostly Brave, lifting it for Noisy. Huge save by Lyo there to push it out to the right side, but the danger is not clear as Dr. Sniper puts it back in.
Oh,
Rolex without boost can only turn it over, but they get to it again. Mostly Brave is still there for the follow-up chance, but ILV Forest Green are pressing but can't find the goal.
What a save by Ronix there. He accidentally drops it down to the middle, but he redeems himself. So he tells his teammates, hey, calm down, I've got this. Backflips to get the save. And it's still, you know, 0-0 with more than 1 minute gone.
Well, this is going to play into the hands of NOX Tampa at the moment. I think having the 2-0 lead in the series, you can afford to sit back a little bit and play with some more confidence, knowing you have multiple chances to win the series. It's ILV Forest Green that really need the goals to play on this pressure. There is a double fake there in midfield, but mostly Brave recovers to win possession back, only temporarily, as Ronix gets a shot on. Defender misses it, Dr. Sniper blocks up on this 50, and Noisy sends it further forwards.
Oh, Noisy, the man to, you know, keep your eyes up for in Irrelevant eSports Forest Green. He has done most of the job so far in this game, at least, just pushing and pushing, keeping that ball in that blue half like I told them to earlier. And, you know, it's very good to see the amount of pressure that Forest Green finally is putting up for Tampa. Oh, that's a team bomb. What will happen here? Lyo going for that solo play, nearly gets it. That would have been a highlight reel shot.
And as it is, the game remains 0-0. NOX Tampa just need 1 goal at the moment to get themselves into front, and that is going to be it. And it's a real anti-climax of the goal there, as it's Noisy from the halfway line, low along the ground, but nobody's on hand to receive it, as there was nobody back.
The off position by Forest Green, they're not able to get the save. It would have been, you know, it shouldn't even have happened, but Nova somehow makes a miracle happen. And the slots one in for Tampa. Now they can calm down a bit, but it's still, it's still anyone's game currently. One goal is what's needed for an equalizer. So Tampa can't really, calm down for much, as Forest Green already been showing very aggressively here, physical as well. But Nova now going for another attempt into the middle. Ronix is there, but can't put it in.
And that crossbar is a big let-off for RV Forest Green as they remain down by 1. But for all of their offensive pressure that they've had, they have absolutely no goals to show for it. After NOX Tampa had put up 6 with ease in the previous game, the confidence isn't running high for the team in orange at the moment, but they cannot give up. Lyo puts on this shot on the turnover from the defender, and once again, there's just nobody there in the goal line. And it's a 2-0 game for NOX Tampa.
Looks like Forest Green is kicking themselves a lot lately, not being as confident as they were in Game 1. Well, Game 1 was a bit better in the second half, but, it must have been Game 2 that, got into their heads. Just, it was a devastating 6-2. Like we saw, it's, obviously going to get into your head, but hey, let's see how they will work around it. 1 minute and 35 seconds left on the clock to score 2 goals. It is possible, as we nearly saw one go in.
But Forest Green have never led in this series. They have conceded first in each of the 3 games, and NOX Tampa have held on to that lead every time. And now we find ourselves at crunch time for Forest Green. They've got to find a pair, and right now NOX Tampa are just putting up a wall in front of their net at the moment as we approach the final minute of this game. Mostly Brave gives the ball up to Lyo on the wing. Dr. Sniper win it back again. Mostly Brave looks for Noisy on the left side, but ends up turning it over once again as ILV Forest Green just cannot find the plays at the moment. And NOX Tampa are predatory as they get a third here with 57 seconds to go. And it's just a breakdown in play for Forest Green.
If the last goal was at the nail of the coffin, this sure is 3-0 with less than 1 minute left. Forest Green is not happy about this. As I speak, that's a 4th one.
And it's a kick-off goal, and I can't think of too many worse ways to concede a 4th than that. And that just shows that this is a series that RV Forest Green are going to want to forget. Luckily for them, it's only the first series of the season. I mentioned at the very beginning that for a team like this who is experienced but also perhaps a little bit jaded from multiple seasons in the ECC, you just got to pick yourselves up, get ready for the next one. Even in the last 45 seconds of this game, if you can just score the last goal of the series, as Dr. Sniper is putting it into the centre for Noisy, and NOX Tampa get it clear.
To be honest though, this series, though it is a loss for Forest Green, they're probably not happy with it. It can be used for, to analyze what could have been better, to be prepared for that later on. The season, as I speak, that pinch by Noisy nearly goes in. Would have been a sick one, but yeah, unfortunately doesn't go in. But Ronix nearly returning the favour with a double tap.
Well, the full credit has to go to NOX Tampa, of course. We talked about how Forest Green would be disappointed with the result, but NOX Tampa have produced a clinical performance from start to finish in this series and have just looked better and better as time has gone on. Defensively strong, offensively consistent, and they will move level at the top of Division 2.2 with Cosmos Odysseum as they take the sweep victory.
What a match this has been. NOX eSports Tampa just putting down a statement here for every team to see in that division. Division 2.2 as we see here. Wow, what a game that was. NOX eSports Tampa up against Irrelevant eSports Forest Green. Let's go a little recap here. Game 1. That was just, very close. Just both teams learning about each other. It was NOX eSports who had that lead, 3 goals with 3 minutes left on the clock. And then the second half of the game, Forest Green nearly pulling it back. But then it was the second game that was very interesting, where, first game we would think, oh, they brought it back at the end there. Maybe they have a chance in the second game. Maybe they will take it. Like you said, you thought Forest Green could have possibly grabbed it, took it, actually. But turns out they were the one to lose it 6-2 as well, which was, very devastating and probably got into their minds into that game 3. It was very close in that first beginning, though. But as time went on, there was just minor mistakes, leaving the ball open for Tampa, the positioning and everything. But nonetheless, congratulations to NOX Esports Tampa for grabbing the win up against Irrelevant Esports Forest Green. And before we head into a break, Herbie, do you have anything to say?
Well, congratulations to NOX Tampa on getting the first win of the season. I already talked about their strong performance from start to finish. But yeah, I think as your recap indicated, game one was the one that RV Forest Green really needed to win. And those couple of early goals that happened in both games 1 and 2, I think turned out to be the backbreaker in this series, because momentum was never really there for RV Forest Green. And I think mentally they must have dropped off after they conceded those first couple of goals of the game. Maybe they expected their season to be beginning in a different fashion. Maybe they had a vision in their heads of how they'd be scoring top quality goals and winning games in overtime. But reality can often be disappointing on that front, as this is league play and every match can bring a different flavour. And this one is the taste of defeat for RV Forest Green. So they'll be back in their next series, and they've got thick skin, and I'm sure they have a good chance of victory in their next series of the season. But as it is for now, NOX Tampa move up to second in the table, level with Cosmos Odysseum. A good result for them. But there is one more match here on Slipstream this evening, and we are heading all the way up to the Vortex to watch the defending champions, Little Whammons, play in their first match of the season against Oofstones, who lost their opener 3-1, and they'll be looking to produce a top draw response against the highest quality team that we have in the Vortex.